All right, we're live. I do believe we're live. There we go. We are live. I'm Mike. This here is Moose. The guy who's fighting me is Moose, and you're here for another live Mike on the Modeling with Mike channel. Another hour and a half of modeling mayhem coming right up. So let's start with the usual uh, poll results from 2 weeks ago, since we didn't have a live stream last week. If you remember right, the poll question was, what made you ignore modeling advice? 33% of you said budget, 13% said time, 27% said didn't know better, and another 27% said ego. So that was a very close poll, closer than I expected. Lucy's wanting to get down, so we'll let him down. So let's get right to this week's topic, shall we? So be honest. Have you ever finished a build and immediately started pointing out everything wrong with it? Well, today we're going to have a discussion of why modelers don't notice the flaws you obsess over. So, the main core question here is, are we too hard on our own builds compared to how others see them? And there are common behaviors that show this, such as fixating on tiny flaws, comparing our builds to YouTube and Instagram builds, or never feeling done. This is not about lowering standards, but healthy expectations. So, why are we so critical of our own builds? Well, number one, you know every mistake because you made them. Number two, time invested increases emotional attachment. Number three, you get into a comparison trap from social media. You compare your builds to social media or other media, so to speak. Number four, a rising skill level leads to higher self expectations. The more your skill level rises, the more you expect of yourself. And all of this could lead to hobby burnout and perfection paralysis. Now let's discuss social media and YouTube expectations. These some examples of these are filtered photos. You only get the best photos of their builds. Edited videos. Again, you get the bad stuff removed. Selective angles. You only get the best view of that build. If you have one side that's total crap that you screwed up the decals and one side that says that looks great, you're going to film that great side. And all this leads to the highlight reel effect, where you just show the good stuff. And all this warps expectations, especially for new models. And remember, most builders struggle silently. Now, there are times when being critical is actually helpful. Let's talk about healthy self criticism. Self criticism is very healthy if you learn from your mistakes. It's also healthy if you set achievable improvement goals that you can reach. Now, how are are our habits unhealthy in this way? Well, number one is never finishing builds because you get tired of all the mistakes you're so called making, stripping and restarting endlessly. And all this could lead to losing joy in the hobby. Now let's discuss how we can reframe how we judge our builds. Number one, compare your builds only to your previous work. Don't compare it to somebody else's. You're not building somebody else's model, you're building your model. Take photos and walk away for 24 hours. Then, when you come back, you can look at your photos with the open mind and a clear head and find out what you did wrong and how to correct it. Ask others what they like first instead of assessing your own work right away. And here's a good one: decide what good enough is before you start. So, let's go to the chat, shall we? Jan says, hey, Jan. Bubba's here. He said, sup, Mike, sup, Bubba. Jan says, I only build for one person, namely me. Yeah, but are you hard on yourself? That's the whole premise of this. It's not who you build for, it's are you harder on yourself than everybody else? Chet says, hey, y'all. Hey, Chet, Mike, and Moosey. Hey, live long and prosper. Mr. Lewis. John Christmas says, don't be afraid to make mistakes. After all, it's only a piece of plastic. That's right. But are you harder on yourself than everybody else is? Jan says, oh, yeah, I'm my own hardest critic. Okay. Why do you think that is? Because I know that a lot of people out there who are looking at your work think different. Chet says it's only natural to be your own worst critic. Why do you think that, Chet? Chet says human nature. Yeah, elaborate more. I want you guys to get real deep inside yourselves and see inside yourselves. Bernard Dye. Hi, guys. Hi, Bernard. How's everything down in H-Town? Okay, let's see. Uh, okay. While I was looking up my notes, Bubba said, because I'm the one who builds my models, I am the hardest on myself. If I'm unhappy with the state of my model, I will put it away and come back when I have more skill, like I'm doing with a kit right now. Bernard says, crazy weather, warm one day, cold the next. Well, welcome to, well, it's still winter, so. Chet says, if you're not your hardest critic, you're not striving to get better. Very true. John says, you look to critique your own work so that you can improve to a standard that we are happy with. Okay, here's first question for y'all. What's the one thing you always notice on your builds? Let's see. On mine, I would probably say that it's probably gluing. Bubba says tiny areas that the paint missed. There you go. Yeah, I would say on mine it'd be areas that I use too much glue where I shouldn't have, and it's went all over the place. I hate that. That is a that's a big pet peeve of mine. Oh, and Bubba says, and where the PE is. Yeah. John says, misaligned small parts. There you go. Those actually misaligned small parts can stick out like a sore thumb. But oddly, nobody else notices them. Probably because they can't see them. Bernard says, agree with Bubba. Also, spots where I knew I could have sanded or smoothed better, but I got lazy or impatient and didn't. Yep. Yeah, I'm the same with that too. That goes in with my glue thingy because I mean, yeah, you got extra glue, you can always sand it off. But do I? No. Chet says, any mistake or parts you broke and repaired. Jan says, being too fast, not dry fitting, or let glue cure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Now, I always dry fit, but I do not always let the glue cure. Especially when I'm filming a build. I'm trying to keep from getting that 1 hour, 1 hour video and, you know, Shit happens, you know. Jan says fingerprints galore. Yeah. Bubba says small gaps. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I got this afternoon, I got the priming done on the Bristol Bulldog. And tonight I am going to paint the cockpit parts so that I'm ready for the video tomorrow. Yes. Jan says I glued wings of a F4F Wildcat in the build marathon. Week after I found out one wing was level, other was pointing to the sky. Had to break it loose. Ooh, yeah. John says the problem is we know there are mistakes that often no one else notices. One of my mates thinks my models are great and way above what he could ever do, but it still doesn't stop me criticizing it. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I have had so many times when I have posted a finished model on like a Facebook group and I get nothing but thumbs up on it and nothing but positive comments. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with these people? Don't they see this and this and this and this and this and that? And yeah. And like I start thinking to myself, they're only trying to make me feel good, trying to tell me what I want to hear. But actually, I know that's not it because I do the same thing. You know, I see one of your guys' work on the group, and I'm like blown away. And I'll sit there and I'll say great work or something like that, leave a comment like that, and I bet you guys are like, what's wrong with him? Well, didn't he see this or this or this or this or this? Right. Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to say, well, we have a little lull in the chat. I wanted to apologize for not being here last week. I felt like crap. Uh, I caught that. There's a major bug going around again this year, and what seems like after my battle with MRSA, seems like everything that's going around I catch. And before I had caught MRSA, I I'd either be the very last one or I'd never catch anything at all. Now I catch everything that's going around. John says most people look from the 6 foot rule as too afraid to pick it up and do not see what you see close up. True, true. Bubba says, I think that you got to have a strong mental state to be in this hobby. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Especially nowadays. I mean, back in the day, the only way you could get your work shown is either, you know, send it into some magazine or, or do what I did and put it out for sale at like a garage sale. And now, heck, you just take a picture, press a couple keys, and boom, it's right there for the whole world to see. Jan says, or a very bad mental state. Yeah, yeah. Gotta be a freaking nut. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I had back in the 90s, the last time I was in the hobby, I had like 40 or 50 models just put away in boxes and stuff. I took them all to a buddy's garage sale. Ended up making $35 on them in like 3 days. So somebody liked them. Bubba says, cough, cough, aftermarket PE, cough. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Bubba. I hear you on that. Yeah, hey, John, I did my review of the Bristol Bulldog yesterday, and I part of it was that 3D engine you sent. I thought that thing was a whole engine. I didn't think it was the outside parts, the exterior parts. Heck, that shouldn't be too bad. Famous last words. I think the biggest pain in the butt's going to be getting them out of there without losing them. It's going to be simple to get out there, but getting them out of there without losing them is going to be another thing. John says we'll need a delicate touch. Yeah. Oh, I could see that. And not nearly as much PE glue as I used on the photo etch build. Because that pretty much ruined that CA glue on the photo etch on them wings just ended up ruining the decals because They sat down perfectly like they were supposed to, but they sat down perfectly on top of glue splatters and it ended up looking like I didn't use any, setting solution or anything like that when I did. John says, talking of PE, I've got a ship for a group build and has a total of 6 frets. That will test my mental capacity. Yeah, you think so, John? You think so, buddy? Bubba says, so what's everyone's new project? I'm working on some aftermarket 135th German tank crew and ordinary soldiers for a display I'm making. Cool. Well, I just told you my new project. It's 148 scale Airfix Bristol Bulldog build series. And I'm still working on that Metal Earth Huey helicopter. Jan says, I'm more scared of resin than PE. I'm not familiar with resin. Resin isn't too bad. You just got to watch sanding it because that dust on the sanding is toxic. You got to wear a mask when you're sanding it. Bubba says, and Mike, I think you should join John's group for that build. I might. John says I'm still working on the Atomic Annie. Okay. I don't want to spread myself too thin. I want to join Chet's Cannonball Run group build. And at the same time, I got to run the channel. Yeah. Takes a lot more work to run a YouTube channel than you think, Bubba. A lot more time. I think Chet can back me up on that. And everything that entails, because brings me up to another thing I wanted to tell you guys about. It's not official yet, but I'm rattling around another group build in my mind here. I think I want to do since 2026 is the 250th year. And since this is the 250th birthday of America, I'm thinking sort of a patriotic group build and have the 4th of July be or a week or two before the 4th of July be the deadline so I can make another video with all the entrants in it. But I'll let you know that here in probably a week or two when I figure it out. John says, Bubba, the ship builds are a year long build group, and even then, some won't finish their builds. Yeah, yeah, I definitely don't have time for that. A ship build is probably out of the question. Catfish Hammer, new guy, newbie alert. Hi everyone. Hey Catfish, welcome, welcome. Since you're new, I'll tell you what the subject is today. The subject is why are we uh, why are we so hard on our own builds when others aren't? And Bubba says, "Damn, John, what scale is that?" And sup, Catfish? Yeah, welcome, Catfish. Join in the discussion. The last question, Catfish, that I put out was, "What's the one thing you always notice on your builds?" What's the one thing you always notice on your builds? And it's getting to be time for another question. Catfish says, "Thank you. You're welcome." Enjoy yourself. We have fun here. Catfish says, "Spot in the paint." John says, "Mine is 1/350th scale, so not as big as some, and some make wooden sailing ships with all the rigging." Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that one model I mentioned that I put back into the stash because I screwed it up was a wooden sailing ship. Jan says, "Not shabby. The Netherlands just got 2 gold medals on short track skating." I was going to say, it's probably speed skating. Moosey, enough. Calm down, buddy. Yeah, you guys rule speed skating. Except for one guy, American, named Jordan Stoltz. I saw what he did to one of your guys last night. He was over a second behind him on the last lap and made it up. Ended up beating him by about 2/10 of a second. So he made up like 1.2 seconds on the last lap. That's like nuts. What, Moosey? Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. People want to see you. Here's the man. Catfish, this is Moosey. You'll see him on all my videos. Bubba says, "Not a very active chat today. I might start talking about stuff I dislike in this hobby again." Feel free. It's time for another question. Is there a mistake no one else notices but you? Catfish says, yeah, I've been watching you for about a month and a half. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the support. So, is there a mistake no one else ever notices but you? Let's see. For me, I'd say I make painting mistakes a lot of times that nobody notices but me. Jan says, build mistakes, miss a line. Catfish says, and my pink paint. Oh, okay. Jan says, butterfingers again. Yeah, the fat finger syndrome strikes again. Yes, sir. Easy, Moosey. Easy, get back. Oh, here we go. I'll be right back, folks. Another pop up ad that I got to get rid of. Okay. Catfish says, in my paint, I built a 57 Thunderbird. Cool. Catfish said, had a hard time with the paint. Bubba says, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I do put the number decals on tanks, which most likely didn't have those on them. Like what I did with my Tamiya Ferdinand. I put decals numbered 445 from another set. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do that, then it's not a mistake, is it? Let's see here. Okay, Bubba says on it, I'll post pictures of it after the stream is done. Okay, cool. Bubba says no one else but the most rivetiest of counters would notice or care. The rivetiest. How rivety can you get? Let's see. Chet says before or after? Before or after what? John says, I love rivet counters. Yeah, whatever, John. Before or after what, Chet? Well, we're already almost 45 minutes into this thing. Bubba says, I've seen comments of people losing their minds because someone didn't put Zimmerat on a tank that should have it. Yeah. Amen. Jan says, yeah, rivet counters keep us and the manufacturers sharp and on edge. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're just a bunch of pains in the asses. Chet says, wow, YouTube jumped me back 30 minutes. Huh. Well, that's weird. But Chet says rivet counters are life sucks. Yep. John says take one to a busy bar at a model show. They will clear it in a minute so you can get a drink. Yep. They are very helpful that way. I guess they do have useful qualities. Mm, uh, Bubba says it's so easy to do. Chet says wrong camo on that era tank. Yeah, I mean, I usually freehand my camo and I do it the way I feel like it. Excuse me. And to hell with the rivet counters. Chet says that's why I build cars. You can't be wrong. True. Very true. Jan says wrong color on that World War One plane. Yep. Yep. Tell them all to go sit on it and rotate. Ain't that right, Moosey? Hmm? Yeah. Jan says, I must admit I use that line also, especially at friends' builds. Chet says, besides, I like glossy and shiny. Yes, yes. Bubba says, if I put on a camo that doesn't belong on a tank, I call it a field modification. There you go. Say it's a field modification. Go sit on it and rotate. Oh, wow. Okay. So we are at the 45-minute mark or 20 seconds short. So I'm going to tell you what's coming up on the channel. Bubba says, plus snow canoes are very useful for covering up other painting mistakes. There you go. So, coming up on the channel tomorrow is part one of the Bristol Bulldog build series. Gonna start out as we usually do with a review of the kit. So that's tomorrow, full review of the kit. Then Tuesday, we will have the actual start of the actual build. We will build the cockpit, and that'll cover steps 1 through, I believe, 12 in the instructions. And then the next Friday, we will do part 3, which is the second part of the actual build. And that'll cover steps 13 through 21, which will be putting the cockpit into the fuselage, putting the fuselage together, and the bottom wing. So that's what's coming up on the channel. Let's see. Bubba says, camos, damn autocorrect. Chet says, if I can ever find a cheap 135th Sherman, I'm going to Pro Street and paint it custom metal flake to enter it in a model show to piss off armor counters. There you go. Amen. Chet says, what model Mack truck is the Bulldog? Bulldog's not a truck. It's a plane it's a British plane that was in service between World War I and World War II. Biplane. Jan says Tamiya has cheap Shermans. Do they? Chet says, no, a Bulldog is a truck. Well, it's a truck and a plane. A Bristol Bulldog is not a truck. Because Bristol is a British plane manufacturer. Bubba says, Tamiya is either really cheap or far too expensive in my experience. John says, no, a Bulldog is a dog. Well, true. God. We're going off the rails again. Yep, it's going off the rails again. So tell us, Bubba, what do you hate about the hobby? What? Yeah, but go ahead and tell us what you hate about the hobby. Bubba says, "Oh, here we go. You invited it on yourself. I'll be a while." Hey. Once he wants down, he's becoming a little And while you're okay, Chet says, ever hear the song Convoy of Bulldog Mac with a can on back and a Jaguar hauling ass, 10 on the floor, striking board seat cover, starting to gain? I've heard the song Convoy by C.W. McCall, but I don't remember those, all that. Maybe it was in there. John says, just pre ordered Tamiya 124th Ford Zaxby Capri. Will be my first car. There you go. Get a nice big one. So, well, but that's the movie version of the song. Okay. Never saw the movie. Heard the song many times. Love the song. So, while Bubba's typing his rant, let me ask you another question. Has social media made you more critical of your builds? Yes, no, or sometimes? I'd say no. I don't usually listen to social media. Okay. Chet says, great movie. John says, got it, because back in the day, I drove a 3-liter Capri. It was damn fast. Chet says, nope. Same with me. Nope. I don't listen to most of them assholes in social media. What is your problem? I'm sitting here waiting on it's. Chet says it's socialist media that got me back in the hobby. Bubba says rocks. Okay. Chet says burb, my back teeth are floating. Bubba says, you didn't get my first comment? No, I didn't. John says, social media is for keyboard warriors who can hide behind their comments. Yep. Most of them are just nothing but a bunch of cowards. Yeah, Bubba, retype your first comment. I'd love to hear it. I'm gonna go back and see if I did overlook something that you're. Yeah, Bubba, the last comment I got from you is, oh, here we go. You invited it on yourself. I'll be a while. And then you said rocks. Yeah, I hate social media. The only reason I put the group on Fleabay, not Fleabay, is on Farcebook is I didn't have the money to put it on some other platform. Chet says water pills suck. Yes, they do. They make you pee way too much, among other things. John says they sure do. Oh, Lordy. Four minutes. We'll be up to an hour into this thing already. It's going by pretty fast for sort of dragging at times. Let's see here. Okay. Next question time. Do you usually finish builds or do you stall out near the end? Do you usually finish builds or do you stall out near the end? I usually finish my builds. I'll stick with it till the bitter end. John says, try to finish my builds. Yep, I will slog on till the bitter end. Chet said, had a doctor's appointment this past Monday. I have a pressure ulcer on my ankle that's not going away because of the twist of my foot. He is sending me to see a top surgeon in Connecticut. Well, good luck with that. Yeah, I saw your post in Farce Book. On that. Sounds rather painful. Chet says to see if he can straighten it and fuse it. The appointment is March 10th. Well, good luck. Bernard says, I try to finish, but there are sometimes little finishing touches I may not get to before starting the next kit. Yeah. Okay. Bubba, here we go, says, I'm going to try one more time. I dislike it when in starter kits you get two paints you hardly use instead of the ones that you need for the vast majority of the build. Is that good enough for you for YouTube? Yes. Chet says I typically finish a build. Okay, cool. Yeah, Bubba, what about when you're talking about starter kit paints? What about when you get four starter kit paints and three of them are dried up to where there's nothing left in the pot and you can only use one color out of it? I had that happen to me on my Airfix Cromwell build. It was a starter set, had four colors in it. Three of them were so freaking dried out, there's nothing left. John says starter kit paints are only good for the bin. And what you think of the tube glue, Bubba? Yeah, tell us what you think of the tube glue. Chet says, I'm currently doing a 60 Impala, just laid out ghost flames on a Camaro and a Nova. Damn. Yeah, you're constantly juggling like five or six kits, though, Chet. I noticed that. Bubba says people who design those paint cups can go jump in. Here we go. A pile of Chester wants the best gloss to use on car kits. Sharp rocks. Yes. Oh Lord, here we go. Oh Lord, Bubba. Bubba says, finally, oh, F sake, so that's how I gotta type it. Chet says, best gloss is 2K or two part, but need a lot of ventilation and a good respirator. Yeah, I heard that 2K stuff is nasty stuff to work with. Bubba says, and I actually don't mind the glue. It's been good in my experiences. Yeah, me too. That glue wasn't too bad. I still have it. Haven't used it anymore yet, but I still have it. Chet says scale finishes make a great one part clear honey clear. Cool. Chet says just got 2K clear, but haven't used it yet. John says that glue is shit. I don't know. I used it on that Cromwell build, and it's still sitting on my TV stand. So it's got to have some quality to it. Bubba says if you plan on building door, you might still use the glue due to the amount that you would need. Chet says KBS Diamond Clear is great, but expensive and only has a 3 month shelf life. Just throw out about $40 worth. Yeah, damn. Oh, just threw out about $40. Wow. Spending $40 worth of clear coat. Damn. John says Revell glue for big parts is great. Is that Revell Contacta stuff, John? I heard that's good glue. Yeah, the Contacta. Okay. Yep. I heard that's good stuff. I might have to order some, try it out. Bubba says, yeah, Revell good is, yeah, easy for you to say. Bubba says, yeah, Revell glue is good. I like the container it comes in, especially that metal straw. Chet says, I took the pint and put it into small glass bottles to expend. Yeah, why can't I talk all of a sudden? Chet says, I took the pint and put it into small glass bottles to extend the shelf life. Opens a few bottles and it was like jello. Wow. John says, cheers, Chester. Think I might go for the 2K. Well, you just shut yourself in there, didn't you, buddy? Well, you're stuck in here for another 20 minutes or 30, maybe 35, because I gotta type in the poll question after I'm done here. Chet says the glues I use are Tamiya Extra Thin and CA glue. Same here. Those are my go-to. Unless I'm doing like a paper model, and then I use Elmo's. Good old Elmo's glue. Bubba says, so what did everybody think of the Super Bowl? No political stuff, please. I'm here to avoid that. First half was just boring as hell. I mean, both defense were both defenses were playing lights out, but when all you see are three and out, it gets kind of boring after a while. Jan says, I like Revell Aqua paints for brush painting. Never used them. Moosey, enough. Never used those, Jan. But second half got much better, at least 50% better, because Seattle could do something and New England still couldn't. Bubba says, didn't the Patriots only get like 78 yards total? I think they got more than that because they scored twice, scored like two touchdowns in the second half. They got like 78 yards total in the first half. They sucked in the first half. Chet says Acme Finish 1 is a popular 2K clear and it gets mixed 4-1, 4-1-1. 4 parts clear, 1 part hardener activator, 1 part Mr. Hobby revealing thinner. Bernard says super boring. Chet says can't talk about Super Bowl without being political. Didn't watch 1 second. John Christmas says I use Mr. Tool cleaners instead of extra thin. Same stuff and get large bottle for nearly the same price. Chet says Daytona 500 Sunday. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Chet. I almost forgot. Yeah, I'll be watching that. I always watch Daytona. Chet says leveling, not revealing. Autocorrect sucks. Yes, it does. Who's got the pole at Daytona, Chet? Do you know? Don't know. Okay. Neither do I. I was busy watching the stupid bowl. Chet says Kyle Busch. Okay. Wild thing. John says watched first half, then fell asleep. Yeah, that first half would have made anybody fall asleep. I fell asleep myself for through halftime. Who wants to watch Bad Bunny anyway? All right, we're about close to 15 minutes left, so I'll give you one more question, or sort of a question. Tell me one thing you're proud of on your last build that I finished it. Chet says I watched Kid Rock. Hmm, I didn't. What was he on? My paint. Oh, okay. John says would affect on my Viking ship. Cool. Chet says the All American halftime show that TPUSA put on. Okay. Hmm. Okay, folks, I have to go take care of something. So talk amongst yourselves. Say hi to Moosey or something. I'll be right back. Where's my king? Damn. Let's see, I'll be back. Come on, Missy. Missy, come on. There you go. All right. All right. Chet says now Mike has to pee. How'd you know? Bubba says and Puerto Rico is in the U.S. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It is a territory of the U.S., not a state. John says, them damn water pills. No, I don't take water pills. Bubba says it's a territory. My bad. Yep, it's a territory. Yeah, I don't take water pills, John. I'm just 62 and have a prostate the size of a walnut. Chet says yes, Bubba. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. It became a U.S. territory in 1898 after the Spanish-American War. There you go, Bubba. You learned some history. Learn some history today. And you take notes, Bubba, because that'll be on the final exam. Not a bad stream today, guys. Drugs sort of at times, but I noticed we got up to 11 people. I think our record is like 13. Didn't quite get to a record. Got a newbie in. So, yeah. Always love it when we get newbies in. All right, folks, 7 minutes left till I have to put a bow on all this for yet another week. Bubba says, anyways, back to modeling. What is your specific favorite vehicle to build? For me, it's a tie between T-34s and IS-2s. Favorite vehicle? I love building anything NASCAR. Chet says the Revell Impala I'm working has a lot of parts. Very cool. Actually, I'll expand on that. I like anything racing cars, but especially NASCARs. Those are fun to build. Then I've built one Indy car before, and that was an excellent build. I've never built a drag. Never built an NHRA Top Fuel or funny car or anything like that. I wouldn't mind trying, Bubba says NASCARs seem like they are more fun to build than watch. From what I have seen, all they do is they left turn in a circle. Oh well, they drive on road courses. Chet says my favorite vehicle is a 70 to 72 CUDA. Love Mopars, drag cars, hot rods, and NASCAR. Bubba says, and sometimes a ride if the pit crew is needed. No, actually, well, yeah. You got to turn right to get out of the. Chet says 200 miles per hour, inches apart, and then turn left. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Except on short tracks, Chet, or 1 milers. Road courses left and right. You do 200 an hour on a short track, you'll end up in a wall. Yeah, road course is left and right. But no way, Bubba, you're right. I'd say probably 80% of their driving is turning left. But try to do that like Chet said. Try to do that inches apart at 100 to 200 mile an hour. Jan says Formula One fan here. Also watch NASCAR and IndyCar. Bubba says not to say that it has to be boring for everyone, just not my thing. That's cool. Chet says years ago at Talladega, Rusty during testing had a car well over 200 miles per hour. NASCAR crapped their pants. Yeah, and then they put in restrictor plates. Which did nothing but guarantee the big one every super speedway race. Okay, 2 minutes till I have to put a bow on this. Last call for chats. Chet says they already were running restrictor plates at that time, and they still had it above 200. Wow. Bubba says, doesn't NASCAR build their tires in such low quality to build suspension for the audience? No, they don't. Not at the speeds they run. You have a low quality tire, you're gonna be in trouble. No, that's a safety. Chet says the restrictor plates are to keep the cars from landing in the stands. Jan says sometimes they did, Bubba. Chet says Goodyear designs the tires. Jan says tracks are built for a maximum speed. Any higher, it gets dangerous. Yep. All right, folks. It's minute 27 into this, so I got to start putting a bow on it for this week. So thank you all for showing up and participating. Another good stream. Drug a little bit here and there, but big deal. Big deal. We got back on track. So if anybody watching this later on, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Both of them help the channel. Don't forget about the Frugal Scale Modeler. That's our group on Facebook connected to the Modeling with Mike channel. I always leave a link on my video descriptions. Just hit that link. It'll take you to the home page of the group. Answer 3 questions relating to modeling and agree to the group rules, and you're in. Also, don't forget about the gallery discount. Every time you're on the gallery website, enter the discount code MWMike, all capital letters, all one word. Enter that at checkout, and you'll receive 10% off your order. And also, if you'd like, you can use Chet's discount code. That's Billboards Builds. Enter that at checkout, and you can still get 10% off your order. Also, if you're on the gallery store on Amazon, enter the code SH48Mike. Again, all capital letters, all one word. Enter that at checkout. You'll get 5% there off your order. Now, the next 3 videos. Tomorrow will be the review of the Bristol Bulldog 148 scale kit from Airfix, the first part of the next build series. Tuesday, we will start the actual building of the Bristol Bulldog with the cockpit. And I'll decided some new things about it. It'll be a lot different, hopefully, than what I've been doing on my build videos. That's all I'll say about it. But should be fun. Then next Friday will be part 3 of the series. We will get the cockpit into the fuselage, put the fuselage halves together, and attach the bottom wing to the fuselage. So that's what's coming up on the channel. Let's catch up on the last chats. Last chat of the day. Chat says same reason NHRA is 1,000 feet and IHRA is 1/8 a mile. Cars were getting too fast for the tracks, and be safe. Very true. So that's all we got for today. So y'all know what we say around here. Say it with me, everybody. Never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. And until next time, which will be tomorrow at 8:30, we'll see you later. Have a great weekend. Bye. Great time for a pop-up ad. when I'm about ready to hit the off button. Go away.